Welcome back. This is just another really quick video on what we found. A lot of you would have seen that sometimes when you take car to be dyno, the dyno operator says that he wants to do a compression check, he wants to check the spark plugs, and he wants to check the injectors. Everyone goes, oh, why am I paying for this? Everything should be fine. So this is just a brief rundown on why your tuner might want to look at this stuff. So this engine here, we had to pull the coil and spark plugs out because we had to find top dead center number 1, just so we could put the cam sensor in the right place, because we do need to know where that cam sensor signal is going to be. We've done a compression check on the engine, and basically cylinders 4, which is close to the fan belt, true to 3, they were 155, and cylinder 1 was 148. So they're all pretty close. There's nothing really to get too concerned about there, but it's just nice to know that the engine's pretty healthy. That's about the right kind of a number you find for a turbocharged F4R. They're kind of around that 155, maybe 160 kind of a number. If that's where your engine's at, it's probably reasonably healthy. These are the spark plugs we pulled out. Okay, so we have cylinder 1, cylinder 2, cylinder 3, and cylinder 4. Now what you'll notice when you look closely at them, cylinder 4, it's just starting to want to burn the carbon off around the porcelain insulator. Cylinder 2, it's much about the same. Cylinder 1, it's maybe a little bit, maybe kind of rich, but what you notice with cylinder 3 is it's probably running a little bit leaner than the rest of the cylinders, which probably isn't ideal. The other thing you can take from a spark plug is when you look at it, you see how far on the side electrode they've all burnt down, which is an indication on your timing. And you have to remember, we did one power on this engine, then we tried to do another and it misfired and carried on, then we tried to do another one after that and the same deal again. So I think there's a bit of an ECU problem as well, but let's just forget that for the moment. If you look at the side electrodes, they've all burnt down kind of about the same. So compression's okay. Spark plugs are telling us that cylinder 3 may be a tiny bit lean. So after that, we pull the injectors out just to have a check on them. We're just going to go over to our injector flow bench right now. So this is our injector flow bench, and we've run all the cylinders, put all the injectors in cylinder order. So this is cylinder 1, this is cylinder 2, this is cylinder 3 that we did have the issue with, and this is cylinder 4. Now when you look at them, cylinder 1, we've run this on like an acceleration cycle, because that's how we do it. It's delivered 112 milliliters. Cylinder 2, probably pretty similar. Cylinder 3, which is the one with the issue, you can see this is down at 105 to 106, so it's a little bit leaner, which kind of supports what we saw on the spark plug. And if you look at this cylinder here, it's 110, 111, so once again it's pretty close. So cylinder 4, cylinder 2 and cylinder 1, you'd happily use those injectors again. The client has supplied us with some other injectors, a spare set, so we're going to try and find something that we can get that's just a little bit closer. Not that it really matters, because we can do individual cylinder trim with our Motec, but it's just nice to have them kind of all the same. So what we're just going to do now, just because everyone's going to go, oh no, you've doctored these results and it's all junk, we're just going to run the test again, just so you can watch it in real time. So we're just draining out our tubes right now. Close that off. Now we run this on acceleration cycle, so it starts off at a low pulse width and then ramps back up, and you'll hear that from everything else. And we run 2 cycles of this. That was one cycle, we're just starting the second cycle now. Okay, so what we need to do now is just need to let everything settle. You need to let all the air bubbles come out. But just at a quick glance, when you look at it, you can see that the numbers are kind of about what we said before. Our cylinder 3 is definitely a little bit lower in fuel delivery, which showed up on the spark plug. Our cylinder 4, it's kind of similar to our cylinders 1 and 2. Cylinders 1 and 2. Cylinder 2 is probably a little bit down on cylinder 1, but once again, everything is kind of showing up to kind of support what we saw in the spark plug. So this is why sometimes your tuner might want to do an injector flow test. It just makes it a little bit easier for him to know the current state of the engine. It also allows him to put some individual cylinder trims into cylinders. Now what you need to understand is on this Megane 2, you can't do individual cylinder trim because the ECU, the factory ECU, because it doesn't have a cam sensor, doesn't know whether it's cylinder 2 or cylinder 3 or cylinder 1 or cylinder 4. All it knows is that cylinder 1 and cylinder 4 kind of knows where they're at, but it doesn't know which one of the two it is. And likewise, it knows where cylinder 2 and cylinder 3 is at, but doesn't know which one it is either. So it can't do individual cylinder trims. So you can't correct for an injector that's got a slightly lower flow than the rest of them. So what finishes up happening then is our cylinder 3, it's going to be a little bit lean, and the other cylinders, they're going to be a little bit richer than optimal, and that's kind of the letdown, if you like, on the factory ECU. And that's why some of the aftermarket ECUs, be it a Motec, a Haltech, an ECU Master, that's why they can deliver a slightly better result, because basically they run in full sequential and they know which cylinder is which, and they can deliver a different fuel flow for each cylinder if required, like they can put a trim on each cylinder to make sure that each cylinder is working absolutely optimum. So we don't run with one cylinder that finishes up being too lean, or one cylinder that finishes up being too rich. We can actually make all of the cylinders run equally, because if we flow the injectors, we know what the fuel delivery is, we can put an overall trim on that cylinder, and then when we tune the car, we can make sure that we get optimal power out of it. Once again, thanks for watching. Catch up with you next time.